and we were supposed to start at about 10 a.m. First, let me first introduce myself. My name is Makosa, and also the chairperson of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee. And I think it will also just be right to give the other members of the committee also the opportunity just to introduce themselves before we start.
Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm Arman Adamestaizer. I'm a PR counselor from Plus, a member of MPAC.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Councillor Kuti, Councillor for
Good morning, colleagues. My name is Audahan. Member.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Councillor Mashinki Kruger, the Ward Councillor of Ward 6, JB Marks Local Municipality. I'm the member of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the media for accepting my from MPAC side. My name is Councillor Mola de Bruin. I'm the Ward Councillor for Ward 50 and I'm a member of MPAC.
Thank you very much, and I also want to welcome the media here today at our press briefing of MPAC. I would like to welcome Peter from the Kotugai, Tanya from Wayfall Media, our local herald, and we also have Ahanang FM here. We have Karabo and his colleague Sima Kaleng, who will be covering this press briefing. Just to start, the reason why we called this meeting is a resolution that was taken by the committee as MPAC itself because of certain unhappiness that the committee is experiencing regarding our role and our duties that we must fulfill as the Municipal Public Accounts Committee. So the committee has decided that we must just make the statement. So because we represent council, we are a committee of council, and we are representing the community of the JB Marks Municipality also out there. So we just need to get the message out, the difficulties that we are facing as a committee of MPAC. How we are going to go about, I'm going to read, we have prepared a statement from the committee. I'm going to go through the statement. And then after the statement, we are going to open the floor for the media to ask some questions. And I would like the members of the committee then to respond also for some of the questions that you as the media might have to raise to MPAC. So with no further delay, I'm going to go to the statement. It reads as follows. MPAC raises serious concerns on non-compliance and lack of accountability within the JB Marks Local Municipality Administration. The Municipal Public Accounts Committee, MPAC of the JB Marks Local Municipality, wishes to formally express its profound concern and dissatisfaction regarding the persistent non-compliance, lack of accountability, and disregard for legislative processes exhibited by the municipal administration. According to the Municipal Finance Management Act, MFMA, Act of 56, 2000, and specifically Section 121, subsection 1 and 2. Every municipality is legally obligated to prepare an annual report that reflects its performances and the use of public funds. Additionally, Section 122, subsection 1 of the MFMA requires the Council to review this annual report within 2 months of its tabling and to adopt an oversight report. The Municipal Public Accounts Committee MPAC, as an official constituted committee of council, is tasked with leading this oversight process on behalf of both the council and the community. The committee has faced ongoing challenges, including its constitutional and legislative mandate. A public participation meeting originally scheduled for 12th of March 2026 has been postponed to the 19th of March 2026 due to the administration. The shortcomings not only have the process but also undermine these principles of transparency and public participation outlined in the local government legislation. Further disruptions occurred during the implementation set for the 18th of March 2026. These essential sessions due to the administration scheduling a special mayoral committee meeting on the 17th and hence application meeting on the 18th. Directly correlated for the index process and undermines the authority of MPAC as ability and public trust. The committee is particularly worried, and these disruptions could hinder the council's ability to adhere to the statutory deadlines as outlined in Section 129 of the MFMA, thereby increase the municipality's exposure to legislative and audit risk. As a committee of council, MPAC will formally present these matters to council, accompanied by strong recommendations for corrective actions, including the implementation of consequence management of those officials found responsible. Simultaneously, MPAC recognizes the importance of informing the public and all stakeholders about these challenges, as they directly impact accountability mechanisms designed to protect public resources. Additionally, MPAC will submit the report to the relevant provincial government stakeholders as well. MPAC remains steadfast in its commitment to fulfill its mandate impartially and without bias. The committee urges the administration under the leadership of the accounting officer to promptly restore compliance, adhere to council processes, and uphold the principles of accountability, transparency, and good governance. This media statement is issued by the Municipal Public Accounts Committee of JB Marks on the 15th of April 2026. So with that, that is our statement. We will send it to all of the media houses here present. And without any further ado, members of the media, if you have any questions that you can raise to the committee, the floor is now then open for you to raise questions if you have any. Thank you very much. You can go first.
Good morning, it's Madeleine from Akane FM. So I have a question here. According to MPAC, is there any fraudulent activities on the side of the municipality since they are refusing to give financial reports?
Thank you for your question. Unfortunately, we are not sure if there is any corruption because we are not in the position that we can go through any financial statements as administration is simply ignoring us and we are not issued with them. The fact that they are not in any of our meetings and the fact that they are ignoring us as if we don't exist. And the Municipal Public Accounts Committee is the committee that's overseeing the public's funds. And the fact that they are not here, the fact that they were not here for the previous four sessions, I'm sure that there's a reason to be really concerned.
I must concur with my colleague Madra. Fraudulent is a bit hard for us to determine, but what is public knowledge, you can find it on the annual report, is we have 5.5 billion in unauthorized irregular fruitless and wasteful expenditure. And so that is something we need to investigate. We cannot sit, we don't get the administration to sit with us so we can find out what happened, how we can rectify it. There's also the issue, there's just a few notes I made on it, but there's also constant pipe burst and sluice blockages that is reported in the annual report, but yet we've only designated 2% to our maintenance, and Treasury recommends 8% for maintenance, right? So, and then I have another note here that says, got 86 million in capital project money that was unavailable, that was available, but was not spent. These are all questions that are hanging up in the air, and we as public representatives need to know what is going on in their administration. So I think maladministration might be the closest thing here that looks like I'll go out on a limb and say yes. I think maladministration might be the closest answer, but maybe if the administration decides to come sit and actually explain to us, we can actually come to a full conclusion. Thank you.
I think we should have maybe started to say when you go to section, I think section 65 of your MFMA, which states that the accounting officer is directly responsible for the coffers of the municipality. And you further go to section 71 of the same document or booklet. It says the accounting officer within 10 days of the month, 10 days of the month, accounting officer must, submit a report to the executive mayor about the finances of the municipality. Now, in that section 71, it also states areas that are supposed to be addressed by the accounting office, which talks about the actual revenue, talks about the actual borrowings, actual expenditure per vote, actual capital expenditure per vote, amount of any allocation received. And then it further says your actual expenditure on those allocations, excluding expenditures on, and it goes down. Now, as to be here, colleagues, I just want to respond partly on your question. If there are suspicions of any transactions, it is the responsibility of the accounting officer to ensure that he or she, either prevent or ensure that everything goes according. Now, as the MPAC, we raise red flags, and we raise red flags on the following issues that the AG also raised red flags on. You get where there were cables stolen that amounts to 5 million, and I'm talking about electrical cables. And we are still not sure where that ended up. You got the Igahen Stadium, which was revamped or refurbished, which we don't know where the money is. When you go to the stadium, there's no proof that there was any construction job done there. The disaster management center, which is still a thorn. If you go out there, you go to the side of you go to industrial side, you go to your disaster management situated there. I'm not sure about the street name. It's still a white elephant, not occupied after I think it's a period of 10 years now. Not occupied, nothing is happening. We don't know what is happening with it. Promosa Road, it was constructed something. Installation of Apollo of your HIMARS lights was also a thorn. HIMARS lights, some of them you only get the slab. HIMARS light was not erected, but the money was paid. the service provider. Now, that those are the issues that were raised by the AG, and these are the issues that we want to get into details with the management of this municipality, and nobody is willing to listen to us. Appointment of security companies was a question around them, whether did they follow the correct supply chain processes. It's a problem. We don't know whether did they follow the correct process. We wanted answers yesterday. Nobody was available to give answers. You know, procurement of waste truck removal, these trucks that are, assisting us to remove your rubbish bins and all. We spend on monthly basis around 1.3 million on a service provider, or to pay a service provider for his trucks, for the service for his trucks. But at the same time, when you buy a truck, the truck is less than 1.3 million. We buy trucks, our trucks suddenly they got breakdowns, and the trucks of the service providers are busy forever 24 hours or whatever the service provider can pay. And the question is, why are our trucks as new as they are get breakdowns when the trucks of the service providers are not paying? You can ask those questions also. What is exactly happening? Sometime before 2020, or no, just in 2020, there was this COVID pandemic that we all know. Our lakeside resort was used as a, what do you call this thing?
Quarantine.
As a quarantine, and there were a lot of money spent. And there was a report by the SIU, and we are still waiting, and we are still waiting for the outcomes of that report. Now, those are the things that we feel that if we raise those things, and if you are given an opportunity, it will then respond to your answer to say, is there corruption or not? And for now, as we are seated here, we talk about allegations for the anti-AIDS program and others. So there are also, the abuse of your petrol cards that we use for our vehicles. And it was reported in one of the meetings that over 2.8 million was spent only in the abuse of those petrol cards. Now the question is, what happened? Was there any investigation? When? What were the outcomes of the investigation? Whether found guilty or not, we don't know. So all those things are things that are bothering us as MPAC, and we want to get deeper into the cracks. What is exactly happening in this institution? And I'm referring to those things. You got also your what do you call it, your ESCOM bill. Can talk about it. Why are you doing ESCOM? What is happening? You got your illegal connection of electricity. Why is that happening? Why can't we keep that? Why can't we deal with that? So that we enhance our revenue. But those things are not happening. So we called you here basically to deal with those things. The UIFNW, wasteful food and wasteful expenditure, it amounts to 4.3 billion, if I'm not mistaken. 4.2 billion. Our budget is around 2.2 billion. Now the question is, when is the municipality leadership going to deal with this? Because as and when you don't deal with it, it goes up. As and when you don't deal with it, it goes up. It's either you write off, you recover, you discipline people, but something must happen. If something is not happening, then we will forever sit with a problem of JFNM. So those are the things that we say, if we can get people here who are responsible for our coffers in terms of Section 65, in terms of Section 71 of the MFMA, will then be able to say, but now we understand we have answers, and somebody's either doing his job or somebody's not doing his job. And from there, what do we do as council, as MPAC to council? Because our responsibility as a committee is we are reporting directly to council. Council must then take a decision based on the recommendation that we will be tabling in council. So basically, that's what I wanted to ask. So thank you very much.
And my colleagues have already said them how full I'm not going to. But I just want to say that it's a committee of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee. We have had several engagements with your department at the provincial level, at the national level, that here, your auditor general office, also the municipality, as well as your provincial public accounts committee and your counter. They've raised some of these concerns, especially about the compliance. There's no compliance in our municipality when it comes to finance. Our municipality is not doing well at all. Councillor just raised an issue of 4.2 million. That is not reducing at all. Continuously, it's an issue that is raised by the Auditor General annually in our annual report. There's no consequence management about it. There's nothing about it. It's just normal. The second issue that we had wanted to do to deal with it, when we had this engagement, maybe with the administration, was also to hear, to understand from them as to what have they done about the issue of the consequence management. Because here there's no consequence management. It just goes free, nothing is being done. And the last concern that we have also raised several times with our counterparts at the provincial level. They are aware of our challenges in our municipality. Our MPAC is highly understaffed, highly understaffed. We have one person doing the whole work. The manager is also not even present. He's ill, the doctor has booked him, got a lot of depression, he can't do anything alone. We have pleaded with the administration to say that they must help the man to have a staff so that he can be able to do the work efficiently and effectively. We don't have a legal person. We are supposed to have a research and don't have such people. We need a secretariat. So the man is expected to do everything as a human being, as a person. He's doing overwork, he's doing much more the way he's supposed to do things. And the health is now affected the health. Wise. So I thought that I must just raise this issue. These are some of the issues that we had wanted to raise with the administration, especially with the municipal manager. We even discussed this issue here, right here inside the council level. We've raised these concerns. Promises were made to say that they will address it. It's now over 6 months, nothing has ever happened. We are just understaffed. We have also raised it in the provincial office, your COPTA, your treasury, the provincial level, and the auditor general is fully aware about the situation of our impact in our municipality. In a nutshell, we are not really giving a support as an impact in this. We are at our own, we are standing at our own, we are begging to get information. Whatever information that we want to get, it's very difficult to get that information. We have that access to information. Those are some of the challenges that we are having. Thank you, Chair.
And now, the question says that is there any suspicion of corruption that is available in the institute? Now, the answer is very simple. There is no way the president of the republic can make a proclamation as I do if there is no suspicion of any form of corruption in the institute. Now, recently or previous months ago, there were about more than 50 SIU vehicles personnel within the institute trying to obtain information, collect your devices of officials, everybody from your supply chain up to the last office. Now, it clearly tells you that there is much to be desired. Now, The main of which, when we took over office in 2022, and subsequently being elected to serve in the Municipal Public Accounts Committee by council, the modus operandi is the same. That we would do things or things have been done previously, whereby MPAC won't be able to uncover them. Therefore, you don't give them capacity. Now, firstly, what we mean by capacity, we say that firstly, if you are going to capacitate something, you firstly budget, give them enough budget because MPEC becomes the watchdog of the municipality. We must follow the money of the municipality where you work. But if we don't have a budget to do that way, unable to do that way. But it's clear, Ahana, that the president acknowledges and signs a proclamation that SIU must come into. But up to date, we have not received any report of which we are going to pay for that report. SIU is not doing the work for free. We are going to be given a bill of 3 million or something. 4 million if I'm not mistaken. We must pay for it for the investigation that we have. But we have not received any report. We have not been called by SIU as the municipal council. The administrative committee of council. Now, what my colleagues have raised, it clearly tells you that there's been ongoing issues that are evident. When we took over office, there was this thing of stealing of overtime. And we advised the accounting officer. He did install your clocking system, of which we pay a lot of money, but they are not working as yet. But money is out. But whenever we say SMF that let's invest people who are relevant to respond to such a questions are not there. And I think my colleagues have forgotten something. Previously, there was a project that was running of sanitation at your four-way in extension 6. Pilots were built, money was spent, it became a white elephant. Now, recently, I saw pilots, slab pilots that are being used. Where does the money come from? Because the city on its own, I would say we are in a banana country. The city of expectation is no longer the city of expectation. It's a giant city. When you go to town, going from CBD, we have never in our life, we have never witnessed a sewer spillage. It's terrible. Every street you go, you will find sewer spillage, and we are not addressing it. Now, you would budget, but at the end of the day, before the end of financial year, the budget is finished. Where does the money go? Council took a resolution that we are coming from the third generation. We are a multi-party committee, but we agree for our people, regardless of any political affiliation. That in your own Uganda, there are toilets that are created and will be taken to Human Rights Commission if you are not going to address that. 6 million was set aside. Administration came and say no, we will only be able to implement 10 toilets per ward, and then the other batch will come from that 6 million. That 6 million is not there. Go to the vote number, is not there. Where does the money go from there? When you call people, say, come and account, tell us, we are giving you a budget. It's us that are putting the budget inside country. We are putting budget so that we can see that there are services that must be undertaken to our community. But when we are supposed to do our work, we would be threatened. There will be lack of accountability. Now, I'm answering to your question, yes. There is a form of corruption that is taking place, being acknowledged by the highest office in the land, which is the president. So for us to be saying and going around the bush and trying to hide things when the president proclaimed. President proclaimed. So I'm answering to your question. There is no way that the president can sign a proclamation of SIU to come in place if there is no sign of any corruption taking. The list is endless. We would find time that we must deal with each and every issue in terms of our budget allocation, how we have allocated the budget, and we must follow the budget in terms of its implementation. If you don't see it is zero. So we are not here to attack anybody, but we are doing our legislation. People must start to come before this committee and account. I'm very disappointed to the highest office in the institution being called to appear before the committee so that the committee can interrogate them. They fail to come this far because the office, the highest office in the city, has got political heads of department, whereby directors report to them. So they fail to come. It tells you something, and it's not first time. Last time we summoned one political head of a department. She gave MPAC a middle finger. We went to a boss and say, but the conduct of your member of so people that are in the executive are superior than ordinary councillor, and they are superior than councillor. Imagine a person in your executive committee being told by council that this must happen. It will tell you and define inside council and say that is not going to happen. I'm saying this. We cannot have this meeting because I've got my own say. The highest decision making body is council. It's not any person or any individual. But your question has been answered. There is much to be desired. The president has proclaimed, the president has told the entire nation that JB Marks is a very serious corruption. You know.
But when you go to the AG's report, the AG, the guy who, Chapter 9 institution who audited the books, it shows that we are unfunded with 195 million. So when you say it's funded and the AG says it's not funded, that's why we want them to sit in front of us so that we can interrogate them and so that they can explain. Second, one of my key issues that I'm interested in is the UIF and your unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. In the current year in review, 2024-2025, we sit with the irregular expenditure of 210 million. Now, what does the legislation say? The legislation is clear. The accounting officer must prevent UIF and Ws, and when it happens, he must record it in a register, he must investigate it, and that register must find its way to council. And then council must send it to MPAC so that we can do our job. We must check why that amount was irregular. Irregular expenditure doesn't always mean that the money was stolen. It means that the process was not followed. So we need to go and check was there value for money. If there's no value for money, people must pay back the money. That's our job. But if we don't get the registers, what does it say? Is someone protecting somebody? Why is those registers coming? That is the questions that we want to know. That is why we call this press conference today, because this dissatisfaction is not just this year. You can start as Councillor Mafiki said from 2002. You find the same problem. People don't want to account for the expenditure of the past year. So this is the problem that we are sitting, and we will just like the stakeholders of this municipality to know. And we are doing that because people must account. This is the public money, and if money was spent and there is a red flag, we need to question you about that red flag, and we need to get behind. Ons moet agter die kap van die bel kom om to understand what happened. If there is another question, one or two.
Is we get a budget with projected income and expenditure. And it's exactly like a It's just like a big household budget. It's just, instead of working with thousands, you work with billions. And a funded budget means that our projected income will cover our projected expenditure. So your income is 20,000 Rand a month, your expenses is 19,999 Rand a month, so you are funded. When your income is 20,000 Rand a month and your expenses is 30,000 Rand a month, you are unfunded. And that's what we mean when we say that the AG confirmed that the budget was unfunded. So the projection on income versus the physical expense was unfunded. We do not manage to get our income revenue. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, we don't manage to get our revenue, but we manage to get hours. So we are obviously.
Is there any ways or legal ways maybe that the committee can take to force the municipality to cooperate?
Committee from our side, as MPAC, MPAC is basically the same committees that you find in the provincial legislature and in parliament, but they call them SCOPA, the provincial SCOPA and the national SCOPA. But those two committees have more powers than MPAC. So when the SCOPA summons you, like we call people to a meeting and they don't come, they have powers to arrest those people. So from our side, it is easy to not listen to us and not come. But we still do have powers as council. The thing is just that there must be a political will to enforce the powers. If someone is not doing his job, then it's our duty as the 67 councillors of JB Marks to see to it that that specific person must be charged. It's not that we don't have power, but we are a committee of 9 people. So for instance, if we, a committee as 9, said this is wrong and this must happen, you still have to bring that report to council and council must still adopt that report. So if council don't adopt that report and don't implement those recommendations, that is the problem that we are facing. And as MPAC, we normally don't find it difficult to get a resolution through the council. The problem is the implementation part. And the person, according to law, responsible to see to it that that resolution is implemented is the accounting officer. So the buck stops with the accounting officer. So as council must start to take action against the accounting officer because he is the ultimate responsible person to see to it that the work that council and any committee of council is doing must be implemented. So until council have the political will to see to it that we just don't sit as committees, make recommendations, adopt it, and nothing happens. That is, I think, one of our biggest shortfalls as a municipality is the implementation of our council resolution. Councillor Bhutia.